because grass dancers would make sure that it was a safe place for the community to go, such as in the dance arena. Even before dancers would even be up in the morning, grass dancers were always the first in to bless that arena and make sure that it was safe from any gopher holes, pits, anything that the dancers could step on. Hoop dancers traditionally would go into communities that were going through a hard time, such as famine, drought. Today, because we have this social distancing, it makes it a little difficult. But it also creates a resurgence that we need for our hoop dancers, because they allow that energy to uplift our communities. They tell a story of everything that's around us, connecting us to nature. Kind of why these two dances are important to me is because they are all about community, about bringing community together and making sure that the community is safe.
How I enact care within my curatorial practice is exceptionally important to me. I do have a curatorial practice called Gajit with my co-curator Lindsay and often Dana Danger. And I believe that by having a curatorial collective, we sort of venture outside of this individualistic approach that is often celebrated by Western modes of art display and visual culture. I think in this way it adds a multitude of voices. And in a lot of ways, we build community within that, and especially within Two-Spirit, trans, gender variant, queer, and even women, Indigenous voices.
One of the ways I like to involve care in my everyday practice would be getting people involved. I really love working collaborative work, so that really helps me feel cared for when I know that the people that I'm working with feel happy. So just feeling that mutual care is another way I like to do that.
And I guess to answer the question of how I access care, I think the first step in accessing care is offering care. And that includes in times of crisis, and that also includes in times of stability. I really like to work in a collaborative style, and I find that the more care and consideration and love and kindness that I give to a team of people, the more likely they are to return that. And so connecting with people is the first step, and being generous. And
my main drive, both personally and professionally, is empathy. I look at artists not only as creators and innovators, but human beings with both individual and collective needs. So hospitality is quite crucial to me. That includes looking after first and foremost, the minds and body of the artist. And in COVID-19, that obviously means something a little bit different. So I often look at mental health and caring, at the moment that many artists will be under quite high duress. If there's any light in the COVID-19 tunnel, it's that we can see that there are different ways of looking after our communities that don't rely on capitalism.
As a curator, I work with artists of many different backgrounds. And for me, artists are collaborators and partners on projects, at which point we become an ad hoc collective or a group working together. Although my role as curator tends to center me for being a voice for exhibitions, I often attempt to gain consensus to make sure that that voice represents those involved. So there's a lot of back and forth between the artists I work with, and in the end, the transparency of sharing information and keeping things as collaborative as possible is my way of care.